From the beginning, we were wrong, and only now, well into the second decade of the conflict, have we begun to understand the mistakes we have made. We lived in harmony among the Fae, in a world awakened to new magic. Perhaps we should have foreseen what might be born on this rising tide. What force might awaken. A force powerful enough to twist even the eternal and immutable Fae folk. But Gadflow, the new king of the Winter Court, surprised us all. Singular among his people, he was all that other Fae were not. Aggressive, ambitious, visionary. He had power like none we had ever seen, terrible and deadly. Gadflow and his followers, the Tuatha Deon, believed that a new god was to be born in the east, beneath Gadflow's crystalline fortress of Amathan. In the name of that god, they marched to war against the young races of Amalur. Against a mortal army, no matter the power of their god, we might have been victorious. But the Fae are creatures of magic, not bound by the laws of life and death. Each Tuatha fallen on the battlefield would soon rise again, for the Fae do not know death as we do. How could we stand against such a force? For 10 years the war raged. For 10 years the armies of Men and Alpha fought and died. But as our numbers dwindled, we knew that it was only a matter of time. Our fate had been written. At least, that is what we believed. Until you died.
Don't worry, I'm here.
What do you think this one is then? Alpha? Doran? Could even be a Jotun. Always a surprise, eh, Gran?
Eyes on the job, boy. Don't matter what it is. Dead's dead. And be thankful for that. All we've seen. Go on and pull back the sheet, though. It'll need to be in our report, one way or the other.
Hey, so here's the deal. You can probably tell by my voice that I am not feeling great, but I still wanted to stream. But I usually stream things that are very text heavy, and I am just not up for that today. So I I was trying to think of the most voiced game in my collection, and Kingdoms of Amalur was the first one that came to mind, and we haven't played this game in a while. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. I'll still talk every once in a while, but for the most part, my mic is probably just gonna be muted. Yeah, that's about all I have to say. Hopefully, it's loud enough, but not too loud. Hopefully. Excuse me. I'm sure that if it is too loud, someone will let me know. But yeah, outside of that, that's about it from me for now. thank you for hanging out, and I hope that you enjoy the gameplay, I guess. Oh, and when the game freezes, I promise it's not frozen. It's me moving the window around because I like moved things from where they usually are because I'm trying something new. Anyway, that's it from me.
one of the Varani women. Must have followed a mercenary band over. Maybe one of them herself. Doesn't much matter now. Fared pretty well, though. All right, then. Make sure it goes into the report. You know he'll want all the details.
Amazing how well the body held up. Better than I've seen.
I'm just glad it's not moving. Must have been born under a lucky star, this one.
Anything else we need?
Unless you'd like to name her, I think we're done. Put her with the others.
Well, that's it for you then. Better luck next time.
They're all over. Run!
Scatter, children of dust! Scatter before the might of the Tuatha!
Stay away!
Anybody!
You! Up there! Please help me! Please!
More mortals.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. If you hadn't come along, Wait. I've seen you before. On the slab. You were dead. It worked. By the tome, it worked. You're alive. You died. I don't know how or even where. But your body was remade in the Well of Souls, and somehow it worked. The well restored your soul to your body, and it worked. We must get you to Professor Hughes right away. He'll have questions for you. Oh, no doubt, but we must get to Hughes. He'll be in his study on the ground floor. The Tuatha are coming in through the lower levels. If we hurry, we should be able to beat them to the top. Take these. They'll help keep you safe long enough to get to Hughes. Now, let's get going. He'll be in his study on the ground floor of the tower. At least, I hope he's there. And safe. Let me get this door, and we can be on our way. Right this way. You go first. This is what they're after. Our greatest invention. The Well of Souls. Imagine an end to woe. An end to death. We need to get you to Professor Hughes. Move! Move! One of the storerooms. See if you can find anything useful. Wait! Do you hear something? Rubbish! Must be one nearby. Move! Move!
For Gadflow!
You're going to need more than just that sword. That one had a bow. Get it? Archers up ahead. Best shoot them before they see us. It's over. Go, go! Daggers are deadly if you catch an enemy unaware. Their speed more than makes up for their size. More up ahead. If you can sneak up on them with your daggers, you should be able to finish them quickly and quietly.
Pathetic creatures. A mistake of the gods.
Cave blossoms only respond in the presence of magic. Perhaps there is more to you than it seems. Incredible! What are you?
Rest assured that the arachnophobia is alive and well, and
It
don't
completely covered
worry,
the tunnel. Maybe you could use that staff to burn a path through.
they do in fact. Oh, staff, right. They do in fact give the spiders a dramatic cutscene every time they show up. Lucky for us.
Not more spiders. Burn them! Burn them! Hey, get out of here!
Die, Tuatha bastard! Wait, you're not one of them. Ansel, you're alive! And who's this?
That's what I intend to find out. She came out of the well.
What? Then she better get inside to see the old man. Quick, before those Tuatha make another push.
This is where we part ways. But take whatever you want from this armory. We might have a few things that would fit you. Just make sure you get your shoes. We can hold off the Tuatha here. We can't risk you getting killed. You're proof that the well can work. Don't you realize what that means? Just keep going past the top of the well. Hughes will be there in his study. I'll see you on the outside, if fate wills it. Go on. There isn't time to waste. I'll see you on the outside, if fate wills it.
I never believed the world would work. Maybe it would be best if it never...
I've got a lot of wounded gnomes to take care of.
Ah, plate armor. Nothing protects quite like layers of impervious metal. Leather armor is thin, but will give you the speed to reach an enemy's throat. Simple cloth frees your body and mind. That's why mages prefer it.
Oh, Sean, I'm so sorry. I just saw that you've been typing in chat. Sorry for my voice. Um, I'm so sorry. I have, um, for, for reference, I figured out how to split audio finally. So on my secondary monitor, where chat usually is, I have I have a YouTube documentary going. Um, and and Streamlabs is directly behind the game. I'm so sorry. Hang on. I think I can fix that though. Yeah, I can fix that. Mostly lurking. I figured, but like I'm used to it giving me a little red bar of like, hey, someone is here and interacting with chat. So I'm sorry about that. um yeah, no. I'm fine for the most part. It's really not that bad. It's honestly just mostly it's mostly just like collected in like my chest and throat. I'm watching I know I've talked about her on the channel before, but there's this YouTuber Hazel that just makes these long I would love to say long-winded, but that sounds derogatory and that's not exactly what I'm trying to get across, but she just goes really in depth about like certain anime or just like really weird shit that she finds that she thinks is interesting. She did like a 2 almost 3 hour video on Elfen Lied, and that was fun to unlock accidental childhood trauma over, like accidentally watching that and going, "Oh, this looks cute," and then having it not be cute at all. Um, but if you'd like, I'll actually just drop the link in chat to the one that I'm watching right now. I'm not watching the Elfen Lied one. I'm watching her talk about the anime countryside. Oh, come on, dude. Fine, I'll just hang on. Yeah, luckily, she'll talk about anything that like catches her interest, and it's been really fun to watch. I just like her videos. I think she's cool, and I like the way she like covers things. That should be right. It wouldn't let me copy and paste, so I had to. Oh my god. This thing is so mean to me. It's insisting that I sign in, but I'm streaming. So, like, I'm already here. Why are you asking me to log in? I don't understand. Bizarre. Ah, you know what? New plan. Sorry, give me just a moment. But yeah, I'm excited that I figured out how to split the audio, because this now means that Jack does not have to fight for vocal dominance over the Ace Attorney soundtrack. I'm very, sorry, very excited about that. If nothing else, the OBS Streamlabs software, it's so cantankerous. You're so right. That's a very good word for it. Yeah, it's just kind of obnoxious. Alright, let's get my girl out here. Where are you? There you are. Why does it always have to shush. At some point, I'll actually be able to put it in chat. It works. It just does exactly. It's like that kid in school who is like super smart and you know that they could get straight A's without even trying, but they like being difficult because all attention is good attention. Or not all attention is good attention, but even negative attention is still attention. Here we go. So help me God, you told me I can't drop links. There we go. Cool. There it is. It's been fun to watch. I just like watching her videos. She's got a lot to say, and I love listening to her. So that's what I'm watching currently. There was a time where, sorry, I'll get back to the game. But there was a time where like I would this is the only time I've ever played Stardew Valley for this long, and that's when I realized that like stream fatigue was totally a thing, because I would feel guilty for like playing games that I also streamed, and I was like, God, why am I playing this here when I could be streaming it and talking with my friends? But instead I would watch Hazel for like 7 hours and just play play Stardew Valley with the volume off. And that was just my, like, the way I preferred to play. And now that I can do that anytime I'm sick, we can just do no mic streams. And I'll stream for hours if that's what I want to do. God, anyway, how are you today, Sean? Before I go back to sorry. Before I go back to quietly playing, how are you today? We take everything. We take pieces of paper, we take personal journals, we take everything. Where are you? Is that where I came from? Yes. Oh, you're at the office today. How's that going? On a fine Monday, well, afternoon at this point. I bet. Especially for a Monday.
You've made it, and look at you.
even with all you've been through. The Tuatha, your return from the dead. Please forgive me. You must be terribly confused by all of this. I am Fomerus Hughes, and this is my laboratory at Alistar. Everything you see here is dedicated to one thing, the Well of Souls, the pursuit of immortality. And you're my first success. If we only had the time, there's so much we might learn from one another.
I wish he just came with me. That would make this so much easier.
Too much to explain right now. The Tuatha have come to stop my work, but I don't believe they know about you. Not yet. What's important is getting you out of here safely. You're the only proof of what we've achieved here. I may not be able to save the well, but I can ensure that its only success is safe.
Where are we? We're in Alistar, right? I think he said that.
Yes, you're right. I've got my notes, but it's most important that you stay safe. It's just that you're fascinating. Simply astounding. I'm not certain what's caused it, but somehow... yes, as I was saying, I'm not sure what... Perhaps I should proceed.
Sir! Mr. Hughes! The Tuatha have reached the lab! They're inside the...
No! We've got to get you out of here now! Quickly! Follow the path to the town of Gorhart. Find Agath. He's a friend, and he may be able to help. No matter what else, stay alive! Go!
Very convenient cave-in. Okay, anyway. I'm going back to being quiet so that I can rest my voice. Obviously, I feel like this was probably implied by the fact that my voice sounds the way it does. But I've already talked to Jack about it. The Ace Attorney streams are on hold until I can get my voice completely back. It's honestly, it's not bad. I'm not like super sick. It doesn't hurt. But I'm definitely not able to hit. Ow! You know, my voice does not sound the same as it usually does, and I don't think I could consistently voice Maya specifically like this. I think my Will voice would be better for it, but you know, that's not the case for everybody. So very satisfying. Oh yeah, I know that you're there. Oh, I still have you. How do I get rid of the... There we go. I wanted my bow, but that's fine. Okay, back to mute for me, Sean. Thank you for coming to hang out. I have it set now so that if you say anything, I will see it now, I promise. I'm very sorry about that. Alright, back to mute I go.
told them we needed more guards.
Thank Matharu, another survivor. Are there any more? I suppose that's a little bit of kindness from fate. May those still trapped inside rest peacefully. Morris Hughes was one of the greatest minds of our generation. The Well of Souls was a dream that was almost too good to come true. This was supposed to be a nice, isolated grove. So much for that. Who knows why the Tuatha hate mortals? Who knows why the Fae do half the things they do? The well was a beautiful dream, an end to death, a cure to tragedy. It would have made war pointless. It could have saved the world. We should have known it was too good to exist. Now our friends have paid the price. Stay safe. We'll be moving soon.
Another survivor? But I've never seen you in the tower. Were you one of the Professor's assistants in the downstairs projects? Did he escape with you? Not without the well, we can't. This is the only one, and the Tuatha were tearing it apart. Hughes is the only one who understands how it worked. Alistair is remote enough that we don't get a lot of visitors. And with our research, fewer visitors means fewer questions. Oh, you mean Agarth? He visits Hughes every once in a while. I never could figure out why they got along. He's friendly enough, if a bit odd. You should be able to find him in Gorhart, just down the road, past the ruins. You can't miss it. We all knew Fomerus was a genius, but I'll admit, even I had my doubts about him being able to bring the dead back to life. Guess the Tuatha weren't very pleased that it worked. I just don't understand the Tuatha. I mean, most Fae aren't violent. The wild ones can be, but no more than any forest animal. But the Tuatha are some sort of cult among the Winter Fae. Before they invaded Erythel, no one could have imagined the Fae ever marching to war. Brilliant idea, the Well of Souls. Plucks dead people out of the ether, rebuilds their body, and brings them back to life. At least that's what it was supposed to do. Guess we'll never know if it worked now. We should be safe here. At least a little longer.
I saw you fighting there. We could have used more of you. Did they really have a troll? I don't know how the Tuatha found us, but if they had a troll, it couldn't have been an accident. Fate was kind to collapse that doorway behind you, or they would have chased us into the glade. We started building here when they found Prismere in the mines nearby. Never thought we'd see Tuatha this far out west, though. Fate weavers? Bah, charlatans! You swears by them. But I'll be damned if I trust my future to some cards. Hughes ran off, you say? I wouldn't worry too much. The old man's tougher than he looks, and he's always got a plan. They're technically a type of wild fae. Related to the fae of the summer and winter courts, actually. Dangerous enough in the wild. The Tuatha also use them in their army. I never did trust fae to begin with. Well, those Tuatha are the worst sort. They waged some sort of holy war against humans and Alpha for years now. but the front's all the way out east. What are they doing out here? How did they know about this place? The well was incredible, but it took armloads of Prismere crystals to keep the thing active. That's why we built it so close to the Stone Candle mines. They even put in a few tunnels to deliver the crystals directly into the well. I told them it wasn't safe. Looks like I was right. Again. Good luck out there.
You! I remember you. You're the one? How did you come back? How did you find me here? When I saw you with Ensel in the well, I ran. But it wasn't because I was afraid. I was coming to report that Hughes's experiment had succeeded. The Well of Souls is bigger than just one gnome's pet project. My contact pays well for information about its progress. I just send reports to make some money on the side. But I don't know how the Tuatha found out. This has nothing to do with them. I never wanted anyone to get hurt. I promise you, if I knew who it was, I'd tell you. Sharing research is one thing, but academic sabotage is a crime. I don't have... Okay, here. It's all I've got, plus what I got paid for the information. I don't want any part of this. I'm going home to Odessa.
You've come from the tower, haven't you? Name's Agarth. Maybe you can help an old Fate Weaver, eh? Did he? Poor old Fomerus Hughes. He respected the way the world works. What a shame. He's probably dead by now. When he started his experiments here, he asked me if they'd ever be successful. The cards told me that the Well of Souls would work, but its success would come on the day that Hughes was to die. The old man took it pretty well, honestly, although we did a lot of drinking after that. You're the one. Then that means it all makes sense now. The cards this morning. I drew the Gravedigger, the Running Man, and the Beast. Prepare yourself. They're coming. Try this one! Try this one! Time for a drink!
This will be painful, Morty. The cycle awaits.
Well fought. What? How? What are you? The threads of fate. I've seen them before, but I've never seen anyone manipulate them like that. You just changed how the world was supposed to work. How did you do that? Hughes may have brought you back to life, but that was still part of fate's plan. Nothing short of a god can do what you did. Come here. I'm going to do a reading. You might be able to change the threads, but fate will still have a plan for you. I promise not to tell you if I see your death. It's a gift. Some people paint landscapes, other people write poetry. I peer into the weave of fate's tapestry and see people's deaths. That would be my guess. He was an academic, but he had a proper respect for fate's plan, unlike most gnomes. You're nervous. Relax. This is what fate weavers do. I'll be seeing your place in the pattern of destiny. Who you are, what you've done, where your path takes you. Or, at least, I should be. You're real, right? I swear I haven't had that much. Fate's weave is always hard to see. It's in motion, hard to make out, but undeniably there. Yours is just missing. This doesn't make sense. All mortal creatures have a place in the pattern. You should have one too, dead or not. If this is true, and I'm not saying I believe it, then your path is yours to determine. It could mean nothing, or it could mean everything. The world is changing. You might be a sign of that, or maybe the cause. I've never had a reason to doubt my own readings, but we should consult with Arden. He's not a friend, but he's got a good eye for the tapestry. I'll meet you at his home to the east. I'm going to see if I can be of any help to the wounded at the tower.
You are certainly not the first to think that, Sean. I can promise you that. This did predate Brave, though, so in its defense, he did it first.
That's just it. I don't know if you've got one, but that's why we're going to see Arden. He lives in a little hut to the east in Yulven. I'll meet you there. Once I was Agarth the Unyielding, the Blade of Avgrum. I wrestled the Colossus priestess and declined knighthood by the High King of the Fae. I was a hero of men, but that wasn't enough for me. I joined the Fate Weavers, hoping to find a way to conquer destiny itself. Turns out fate is the one thing I couldn't fight. You can find Arden's little cottage in the very popular, especially not in dark days like these. We are all threads in the tapestry of fate, measured, woven, and cut according to a great plan. Fate Weavers undertake the task of reading those threads. Our title always was a bitter lie, since we have no control over how that tapestry is woven. But you do. And when a Fate Weaver looks at your place in the weave, we see only the shapes of what you may choose to become. The Fate Weavers were once a great, unified order of sages from all the mortal races. We foretold the destinies of kings and gods. But that power takes a toll. Nobody likes bad news, and all the news in the world is getting worse. The order splintered long ago. Now the old traditions are all but lost, and all I foretell is the fate of my beer. And I see it being empty soon. Hughes was always an odd one, curious and determined as any of his kind, sure. He never shut up about his work. But he always knew what was important. He didn't worry about dying as long as he knew he'd get the well working. The Tuatha aren't like any Fae I've ever known. They're cruel, bloodthirsty, and savage. Why, they're practically human. What could this all mean?
Of all the songs in halls of lore, there echoes none more grand than Olain's many feats of might, the pure and lady of the light. She is a knight of golden knot. She is the cure seeker, the conscience of the summer fae. She is the heart of spring, of day.
Everyone just stand back. The warden can't work when you're crowding so close. Go back to your business. Go on.
Greetings.
Hello.
I don't care what you race. It's a tragedy whenever anyone's savaged like this. Just look at the poor creature. She's been beaten to the brink of death. The Fae may be strange, but they certainly don't deserve this. It appears she was attacked with some manner of short blade, likely a dagger, although there's no way I can be sure. People simply stood by as she called for help. No one lifted a finger. Can you imagine? It's shameful to treat another in such a way, even if she is a Fae. I don't know whether we possess the knowledge to treat such a wound. Frankly, I don't even know if I could save a mortal with such grievous wounds. Well, you're the only one. With all the troubles we've suffered in this village, people are weary of adversity. They'd rather just ignore it. I'm going to suggest something a bit untraditional. There's a Fae named Eri. She spends her days up on the hill overlooking the village. Seek her wisdom. I would do it, but I am a coward. That's the truth. Perhaps a Fae will know how to heal a Fae. If not, then we're back where we started. She spends her days in the precipice overlooking the village. She doesn't think we're aware of her presence, but we most certainly are. I've spent most of my life dealing with them, but they aren't like us. Not at the core. They don't know what it means to be a man who sweats to feed his family. Goreheart has become a sort of refuge for those settlers who wish to live a life free of Fae. I don't see that lasting. Not with the war. Not with everything changing. We keep a precarious peace with the Court of Summer, one that's tested every day. I lie awake at night worrying what kind of disaster awaits me in the morning. But we're a good community full of good people. We have our eccentrics, sure, but we work hard and live quietly. That's the best anyone can do these days. Peaceful Fae make up the tribe known as the Court of Summer. They are led by a king in a faraway city, hidden from mortal eyes. That's about all I know. Little more than rumors and stories from my youth. I'm the Warden of Goreheart, and a poor one at that. I've been back from the war for only 6 months and been Warden for less than 2. Now here I am with an injured Fae on my doorstep. I'm a disgrace. Our fate rests in the hands of a few chosen who fight in the east. You wouldn't even know it in Goreheart. We're miles away from the smoke and the screams. I don't know what the Tuatha will be doing this far from the front lines. It must be something vital to their interests. They're a wicked breed, though, and I pity the man who meets up with them in these darkened forests. Bye now.
I appreciated this the first time. That they give you really good armor right off the bat, but I'm going to sell all of it this time around because I don't want to coast through with armor I didn't earn. It actually kind of annoys me.
Hello. Welcome to Goreheart, the last settlement before the Feylands. How can I fill your pack today?
Oh shit.
Goodbye.
Did I just... Oh no, we're good. Never mind. I thought I sold the weapons I was holding.
Yes, what do you need? Goodbye.
Damn Red Legion is the order that Mitharu has given us. I see no order in obstructing the truth. That is chaos. That is what the mission fears. Do the half-truths of these wise men exhaust you as they do me? I have listened to their prayers for too long. There are other voices to be heard.
Welcome to St. Odwig's perpetual mission. I would invite you in, but the Order has been too trusting in the past. We try to learn from our mistakes. Although, one never knows what might be a test of faith. You have arrived just when I am in need of aid, so perhaps Mitharu is at work. We at St. Odwig's have worked for years to establish a presence on this hill. It's not been without its challenges. The call of the Feylands does not fall upon deaf ears, and many of our youngest don't have the will to resist. Take Brother Egan, for example. 2 nights ago, Egan ventured past the walls to collect firewood and never returned. We must find him before anything happens. Mitharu be praised. His order reigns supreme. Brother Egan was last seen northeast of here, just off the road near the Fey ruins. Please find him. Perhaps then we can welcome you into the fold with open arms. Egan was last seen in the woods outside the walls, just north of the village. He is a good boy, but our youngest, and Egan often suffers from doubt. That is to be expected. One can only grow out of conflict, especially conflict of the spirit. I tried my best to comfort him and tell him that wisdom would come in time, but he is impatient, rash. He wanted a faster way to enlightenment and power. The Fae are stubborn fools. They treat their souls like toys, with no thought of right or wrong, chaos or order. I have been with the mission since its founding. These boys are like my sons. I live my life as an example of Mitharu's wishes for our kind.
You know, I don't think I ever talked to characters this long or this much. And hearing the I don't know, voice actors is very interesting. I don't think I ever realized the exact, I don't know, intonations, I guess is the right word. Might not be the right word, but it's the only one that's coming up for me right now.
The first bricks were laid 50 years ago by Odwig himself, before his demise at the hands of trolls. We honor him by converting the Fae to the worship of Mitharu. Alas, we have yet to convert a single one, but that does not keep us from trying. Bless you, child.
Are you content to live among the lives of the mission? They look down their eyes at you. They laugh at your ignorance. The Fae are not our enemy. Only those who seek to poison us should be reviled. That includes the brothers of St. Odwig's.
Hello. Yes? What could a mortal vagabond need with Casmaran the Eternal, messenger of the Fey folk? Speak! My time may be of the ages, but it is still precious. Wait, Father Dinwell sent you, didn't he? Old fool. His path to power was too plodding, and now he wishes to slow me down too. I have new friends, Fey friends. They are named Finna and Arbos, and they have sworn to share their secrets with me and to gift me with true magic. In exchange, they want an ancient treasure buried in the caverns of Waterhall Down. I'll retrieve it, eventually, as soon as I, feel like it. They are Fey twins, and they are beautiful, magical creatures. They've promised to teach me magic, to help me see the world as it really is. All they require of me is to fetch for them this relic. It's quite a bargain, believe me. Fine, if you want to be so noble, but don't expect any of the treasure. This is my key into a powerful new future, a future full of magic and wonders. Let's go. It is in the caves of Waterhall Down, a refuge for the wild Fey. I'm new to the Feylands. Until I joined the mission, I'd never even left my home village. That's why I volunteered. I wanted to see the world. I want to visit the gardens of Issa, to meet gnomes and Alfar, to live. The Order of Mitharu was a good way to leave home, but I want so much more. It sounds rather silly, doesn't it? I had a feeling it would. I need a mage name for when I become all-powerful, for when my magic is so great that no one will dare dispute me. What about Abner the Visionary, or Malik the Nefarious, Lord Zaltanus? No? And those were the good ones. Mortal races have no lasting grasp on this world, and in time the fair ones shall be our masters, beautiful and mighty. They believe I have the potential to succeed where all others have failed, including them. You see, they can't obtain what they desire, so they need someone more powerful to do it. Then they will bestow upon me the wisdom of the Fae. Legend tells of the great Fey city hidden beneath the canopies of Dalantarth. I've never met anyone who's been there, but I'm sure it's real. Yes, I'm quite sure. Not a doubt in my mind. It is called the Selkie Veil, and it's said to possess the power to transform its wearer into any form he wishes. Finna says it belongs to the Fae, but was stolen. I don't know much about the relic, only that it was supposedly crafted by a Fey mage named Armen the Clever. Armen is a good name. Not as good as Casmaran, though. Father Dinwell and the others are fools, and their silly mission will wither and crumble. Finna and Arbos have glimpsed it with their ever-seeing eyes. Bye then.
Maybe.
If we're going to press on, then I'll ask you to stay close. I have no courage to speak of. Honest. Ask Father Dinwell. Local legend says that the great Fey mage Armin the Clever retreated to these caverns to hide his treasures from mortal hands. Among them, the Selkie Veil. Bye then. We're getting close. Watch out for wild Fey. The veil. Come, Casmaran knows the way. We're getting close. didn't think we'd make it.
What is this? Our little Egan has made a friend? I have a feeling this is going to be a problem. Obviously, anyone who has ever glimpsed a fae would know that. Unlike little Egan here, your head holds more than fantasies. The Feylands are such fertile ground for games. The inhabitants are so oafish you can fill your pockets with hardly any effort. Are you going to give us what's rightfully ours, or do we need to start a new game? My brother and I are always ready to play. Cursed, is it? It does look like you are well acquainted with misfortune. Keep the veil, then. There are other treasures to be had in the Feylands. Make certain our paths do not cross again, or my brother will add his mark to your scars. A charming boy, but simple. My brother and I do prefer them witless and eager. He would have done so much more for us if not for you. Before the war, we plundered Rothir from within. We were so successful that the Warsworn had bounties on our heads. Not much, but enough to be proud of. Sadly, all good things must come to an end. With the arrival of so many wartime outlaws, we were forced to relocate here. It was for the best, if you ask me. Legend states that the wearer of the veil will be granted strange abilities, fey abilities. So you can imagine why my brother and I might be curious. Goodbye.
I didn't know. How could I? Before I came to Goreheart, I'd never known anyone outside my immediate family. Everything was so new, so magical. You must think me a fool. And Father Dinwell, come, let's return to the mission. I must ask forgiveness of so many. See you later. I can't wait to get home. Must we return to the mission? I crave adventure, magic, power. Although all of those things are quite frightening. Perhaps it is for the best. This new world is far more dangerous than I expected, and I haven't eaten in days. See you later.
Yeah, great Mitharu. Egan has returned. As for you, you have done as I asked, and we here at St. Odwig's are forever grateful. Consider this meager reward a donation to your cause. It is just one, to be sure. It is only by the grace of Mitharu that Egan has been returned to us.
Actually, it was the grace of me, thank
you.
you.
Had a hand in that miracle as well. The authority works in many ways.
Welcome back.
Have you come to protest the mission as well? The news has spread to every village. It's on every tongue. We are so close. St. Odwig's cannot resist much longer. And once it relents, all others will follow in its wake. The tome will be ours. Father Dinwell is denying that women can be ordained as members of the Order of Mitharu, despite scripture to the contrary. I know that they've got the proof in their reliquary, an ancient ordination tome, but they've never let me close enough to get a glance. All are welcome into Mitharu's embrace. Ha! The hypocrites! Don't commit any crimes on my account. Of course, if Mitharu compels you to see justice done, then I won't stand in your way. The Brothers of St. Odwig's perpetual mission keep the valuable tome in their reliquary, but no one outside the Order is allowed a glimpse. If such creatures were not part of the authorities' plan, then they would not exist in nature, period. Mitharu's divine order governs all, even the Fae. He would be a good man if he could see past the rigidity of his faith. Mitharu embraces all, not simply those that the Church deems worthy. It is the name I chose when I baptized myself in the clear waters of Mitharu. I have undergone the ordination rites, and am as legitimate as any monk. You don't know. It is less a mission than a fortress of deception, a citadel of lies. It throws its menacing shadow over all of Gorehart. Father Dinwell will try to defend his cause, but he is simply a soldier, marching to the orders passed down to him. None of them have minds of their own. She was wronged by someone in this village. That is an injustice I can understand. By its appearance, you'd assume Gorehart is a pleasant place. Never make assumptions.
Oh, I didn't see you come in. I was reading this letter, and is there anything I never thought it would happen. They're coming. Even with everything else going on in this village, the Red Legion is coming for me. I was not always the pious man you see before you. No, I was a scoundrel, a raider in the dreaded Red Legion. A gang of the notorious bandit, Red the Dead Idward. But plunder could not sustain me. I wanted something more. Several of us faked our deaths and deserted, always knowing that Red might track us down. And now, he has. It's all here in Red's letter. He demands we satisfy the blood rite. 2 lives for 1. He'll let me go, but only if I kill the men who deserted with me. But I cannot. I do what I must. I only hope Ugnar and Itrin will forgive me. Ugnar works in Gorehart village. Itrin haunts the ruins near Haxi, still struggling with his demons. Be on your guard. I fear they will likely come for me as well. When it's finished, take their daggers and bring them to Red Idward. He will demand proof. Take mine to start. Good luck, my friend. May Mitharu bless you. Ugnar works for the inn at Gorehart. Itrin has taken to calling himself the Shade, and robs travellers in Haxie. It is a sacrament of the Red Legion. When you commit a crime, you must pay a penance, surrender your life or the lives of 2 others. I'll admit it, my past is a tapestry of drunkenness and loose morals, women and wine. I'm not proud of it, but I couldn't have gotten where I am without making mistakes. The people here are kind, yet suspicious. They believe the mission harbors secrets, and they're right. Ugnar could always be found by Red's side, Red's right hand. But beneath his brutal exterior, Ugnar was a good man, tortured by the ghosts of his dead wife and children. Idrun, however, rivals only Red Idward in his bloodlust. They say he was once a Justicar, but was expelled for brutality. His devotion to his god Enadon is fanatical. I fought under Red for years, yet I know nothing of him. I do know this. He will do anything to get what he wants. The most dangerous kind of man is one without limits. That filled the hunger I was hoping to sate with wine, women, anything and everything. The mission gives my life meaning. Mitharu is with you.
Great Mitharu, you found the ordination tome. I'd give a sack of gold to see the look on Father Dinwell's face. He will no longer be able to deny my entrance to the Order. Mitharu does embrace all. Thank you. I won't need any gold as a servant of Mitharu. Take what I have. It's yours. I will remember you in my prayers.
Damn Red Legion! Hello there.
Make it quick. I've got work to do. Can't pay my debts with firewood, not in Gorhart. I knew it was only a matter of time, and I'm not surprised. Delph will do anything to save his own hide, but hiring a sword to do his bloody work is disgraceful. If you want to collect my dagger, you'll have to fight me for it. Steel for steel. I used to be quite the scrapper. Didn't Delph tell you that? You're right. I've spent years trying to bury my past, hoping to wash away my sins with an honest day's work. If I took the blood right, Red would owe me once more. Take my dagger, tell him I'm dead, for the Agnar Odgrey you once knew is truly gone. If there was ever a reason to believe that Fae and mortals cannot live together, it is this strange and brutal war. The Alfar fight without any true knowledge of the enemy they face. I've seen this kind of conflict before and it never ends well. Gorhart is an Almain settlement, so you won't find too many Alfar here. They tend to stay close to Rathia, their city on the coast. I don't mind them. The peace between mortals and the Fae is a passing one. They will always see us as occupiers of this land. We borrow what can never be given. Those fools in that mission on the hill are wasting their days. Creatures of such power do not worship gods, they are gods. Suits my needs just fine. It's remote, away from the shadows of the Crystal Wall. It's also quiet. Well, most of the time. Their goal is to convince the Fae of their folly, but one cannot reason with the sunrise, ask the wind to cease its chill. You should speak with them if you haven't already. They are a sorry lot, and their numbers dwindle. Men forsake their faith and disappear into the woods, or worse. I'd rather not talk about it. My past is a murky place. It's better not to enter lest you wish to get lost there. Wise up, my friend.
Hello there.
Fae say about these stones is true, but if it is, well, this is just too good to not say forever. Lystrom was out of town when Artol was visiting. Now, Lystrom doesn't know Artol, and Artol is older and strange. She could be mistaken for a fate weaver. So, when Lystrom came back to town, here was Artol the Oracular. I said to Lystrom, I hear her readings are amazing. You should go. Oh my, you should have seen it. A rooster, she said, will change into a man, and this man will become your lover. He will provide for you, and he will make you laugh, and he will make your life exciting and easier. But, and this is something you can never forget, he must never eat chicken. And once in a while, he will need to peck at things on the ground, and every morning at the break of dawn, you'll hear a loud cry from him.
I love that particular stone because the voice always reminds me of of Donna from Doctor Who. The voice reminds me of Catherine Tate, but the personality reminds me of Donna.
May your hollow gods keep you, mortal. I am called Aerie. Your face is new to me. You're different from those in Gorhart. They amuse me, and I strive to learn all I can from them. Have you come to ask about the Tuatha? I can offer only what I know, and hope it will suffice. Yes, I witnessed this crime, although I did not recognize the one who perpetrated it. It is often difficult to distinguish one mortal from another. The victim was Illuvia, but I knew her only by name. You must be hoping that I can offer advice, but I cannot. If she is meant for the Great Cycle, then so be it. However, I would be quite interested to find out whether one of my kind would benefit from one of your mortal remedies. I've always wondered. It will need to be powerful. Your delicate forms are far more sensitive than ours. In fact, it's astounding that you survive as long as you do. Perhaps your mortal apothecary can provide one. You can always create the potion yourself if you possess the skill. I wandered the forest for many seasons, listening to lore stones of the great ballads. Before that, I dwelled in the gardens of Issa. I prefer the quiet of this village, the mirth of the witless. We are kin to the seasons and cycles of all life, to new life and perpetual growth. Mortals may view the warmth of the petals and smell the beauty of a newborn bud, but only Fae know the strength of the roots beneath the surface. Fae lands? Yes, I've heard these words before, but do not understand their meaning. There are only Fae, and there is only land. I do find all main sentiments so charming. I cannot reveal much. The gardens are the jewel of the summer court, a wonder beheld by few mortals. It is located far east of here in a wood so thick it would devour all but those who knew its secrets. Do not pursue such mysteries, mortal. They are not for you. I adore every sad soul in the village, even stubborn Herc with his tender heart, and drunken old Arnick. The widow fascinates me. She has no idea that her lover is dead. I watch them from my perch, hoping to learn the meaning behind their pursuits and passions. If I could, I would grant each of them an eternity. Alas, I cannot. All of us are at the mercy of the changing seasons, mortal and fey alike. If it is one's time to pass into the great cycle, then we must not protest. The passing is keeping with autumn, and is as natural as the eventual rebirth. They contain memories, great moments, ideas, songs, and inspirations. The Fae do not record their words in ink or on paper. Ink fades, paper crumbles. Lore stones mark where our kind has made a lasting impression, where the seasons slowed to take note of glory on a grand scale. I find them so interesting, from their vestments to their odd habits and demeanors. Just yesterday I saw a monk from the Almain mission sneaking through the underbrush. Strange creatures you are. Strange, but glorious. I feel them near, flitting through the western woods like shafts of shadow in the sunlight. What could have brought them here, I wonder? The Tuatha do not trouble themselves with easy prey. If they prowl these woods, it is for worthy quarry. Farewell.
Need supplies? Try the corner shop.
You there? Do you feel nauseous? Itchy? Have you noticed any blood leaking from your eye sockets? I've been noticing the symptoms everywhere. No, this situation could not be any worse. If the Red Legion is involved, then we could all be staring death in the face. What have I done? I'm sure I have a vial somewhere in this cottage, but I do not have the time to search for it. I'm sorry. Why ask questions when you could never understand the answers? It's clear your prowess is not with wit, but with a weapon. If you must know, something of value has been stolen. An alchemical formula that, if released, could cause untold devastation. I see its symptoms everywhere. Only my apprentice, Karth, and I knew of my work on the formula, but he's gone missing as well. I do not deserve such goodwill after what I've engineered. If disaster occurs in Odorath, it will be on my head. I'm not sure where Karth may have gone, but I knew that before he came to me, he found shelter in the ancient chambers of Agnor Far Hall, an Irathi ruin east of Gorhart. Once you've ensured Karth's safety, you must learn what's happened to my formula. When you do, destroy it. It's the only way to keep us safe. He always spoke of his time as a wastrel living in the abandoned halls of Agnor Far Hall, the Irathi ruin. People say it's haunted, but people say many things. The villagers believe it's haunted, but I have a feeling that's a ruse devised by the Red Legion. They mean to terrorize these people into submission, and it's working. Haven't you seen it? The grim tower to the west. Avoid its shadow if you can, because what transpires inside Alistair will benefit no one, I would know. I have seen many conflicts unfold, but never have I seen one in which the fates of so many are at stake. The Tuatha will not settle for simple victory. They want total domination and will do whatever it takes to achieve it. For years I dabbled in alchemy, healing, divination and transmutation. All of that seems frivolous now, what with the war looming over us. Now I spend my sleepless nights in search of a formula that will end such conflicts forever. Do you really think I'm able to part with anything, much less one of my finest mixtures? This is a place of research. There is no charity. I fear for his life. Karth was gifted in a way that I've witnessed in only a select few. If the Red Legion has him, there's no telling of how he'll be treated. If you must know, my name is Nani Henry, formerly the chief alchemist of Alistair. But you wouldn't know what that is, would you? When the scholars in the tower ordered me to leave the grounds, I took refuge here. The Almain are a private people, keen to keep to themselves, like me. Bandits, ruthless and well organised. The Red Legion is reaping many rewards by preying on vulnerable Almain settlers travelling east. Long ago, these villains confined themselves to the coast, but recently they've moved inland to avoid the war. Now they're our problem. They are the Undying, the corrupted roots. Their existence is an abomination. Everything in Amalur exists for a particular reason, except for the Tuatha. They're not meant to be. Goodbye.
I have a secret to tell you. I am not sad. When I was a girl, my father used to tell me that when you grow old with someone, you tie your fates together and create a pattern that is part yours and part theirs. My father said that this is why when an old person dies, their partner is never far behind. But I do not feel that way. I feel free.
What you doing down here? Don't you know Agner Farhold is haunted by the spirits of the Arathi? So, are you foolish or just stupid? Not much is known about the fabled beings of Order. They abandoned this world long ago, leaving ruins such as this as a testament to their glory. I hope that by spreading tales of spirits and boogeymen, they could prevent the curious villagers from exploring too deeply. One can always hope. I'm skilled in alchemy, but it has never brought me riches or respect. The only way I will ever find glory in this life is as part of the Red Legion. She, like so many others in Goreheart, is prone to ignorance. She sees what she wants to see. I am her dutiful apprentice, and she is the wise mentor. Her whole life is a lie, she tells herself. They're very careful about whom they allow into their ranks, and they were resistant about my membership at first. At least until I told them about Manny. Their discovery will fetch a high price at the theatre, but even decide this misbegotten war. Still, there's no concern of mine, since we want to be red. Oh, I see. The Twist Gnome has found herself champion. How delightful. Nanny always was a fool. So immersed in her work, she failed to see the deception before her very eyes. The Red Legion has her for her, because I gave it to them. At this very moment, they're moving crates of it eastward towards the city of Fear, where they will fetch a high price. Poor Nanny. So trusted, so pathetic. Of course she can never learn of my ruse, can she? It is time.
too hard to believe. But you can accept the strangest fact that you were wrong. Yes, but that and this endless vacuity is horrible. The Ancient Ones were here. They delivered themselves into the world. The time-worn cycle turns with ages. The seasons drift along the stream. They wait for the past. The future brings the forming storm. This is no place for a home, for anyone. throne are built of stone. Lovingly this place was crafted. You see the lights, the mystic halls of ordered reality? They are the faces of the missing, the embodied truth of the lost souls. There are so many of them. Still, you can see them. They are like pathetic charades, some with good intentions, and you can't fault them that, but the majority of them are just a hoax. Needless to say, I don't like it here. You could have stayed free and lived a comfortable life, but you couldn't settle the disquiet that haunts people like you.
maidens roll a burdensome and heavy toll. She lived among the mortal clans and bargained with their kind. Throughout the town they stood in fear of the brilliant fighter near.
of my life without him knowing, well, then I'll deal with that. I think there's something to be said for it. I think it's noble. Yeah, I could tell someone, but that's just asking for praise. What makes it an act of kindness is that nobody knows, or at least that he doesn't know. I let him have the glory. No one has to know his arrow missed. He saved the town. He's a hero.
Beware. The Red Legion is about.
Everyone in Gorhart is talking about the attacks. They say that the Red Legion is receding back into the shadows from whence they came. It is all thanks to you. You found the formula and destroyed it. Now, you may think you understand the impact of this act, but you truly do not. You are a friend to this village and to me, Nanny Henry. Take this. It is not much, but it gives you an idea of my gratitude. He seems so eager to aid me in my work that I've failed to pursue the proper references. Yes, I have only myself to blame for this catastrophe. How was I to know he was a scout and a thief? His interest in alchemy appeared genuine. Our friendship, was that too an act? Goodbye.
Here I come!
Ugh, finally, someone that looks like they could stand up to a moderate breeze. There's need for an adventurer such as yourself. Me and a crew are mounting an expedition to a new land, south of here. Ah, clever and strong, I see. It's as I said, we're going to the teeth of Naros, the land south of Dalentarth. If you want more information, seek Hellick Cross. He's leading us. We're camped beyond Ettenmere. Hellick's brainchild, if you can believe it. I don't share his optimism about the loot we'll find, but if we get only a fraction of it... Made a living pillaging the ruins of old places like Talarain. Robbing the dead tastes better than stealing from the living. I'm a good enough thief. Never once been caught. Still have all my fingers, or didn't you notice? The name's enough to put most explorers off. Bugger them, I say. Just less competition. Besides, what's in a name? I spent 2 years trying to make a fortune in a land called the Painted Orsks. Never did find out what an Orsk was. Enough of that.
In the country of Niralim's embrace, the summer manifests as an immortal fae. You know her, him, it, as the resplendent warrior, or the ardent conqueror. You mortals named him King Issa. In the youth of your people's memory, you bore witness to Issa's exploits. He is your legend of might and eminence. Come, listen to a tale of Issa and On, the Godstorm, the Withering War.
Hail, traveller! Ah, finally! For a while I thought only the Warsworn used the Yolven Road. Penry Kell's my name. Traveller by vocation. I have no trade, but I do have a job for one like yourself. Interested? Most travellers have qualms about dealing with the fair folk. Harder to read than a human, and fewer many pockets to pick. These ballads, Fae, they are not only rich in lore. I've heard snippets of a ballad, and a beautiful ruby ring, and I need someone to help me get it. Never met a traveller before, have you? We may look humble, but our purses are always full. You can find a lot of coin if you know where to look, and when. The ballad is called Ring and Reprisal. I know little about it, but if we reenact the ballad step by step, the ring should come to us. In the story, a maiden asks a champion to reclaim a ring stolen by a troll. It's a few years too late, but I'll play the role of the maiden. You be the champion. First, you must prove your prowess by hunting wild antelope and bring back something to lure the troll. Who knows? You'd have better luck getting an answer from one of these damn fae. But it's what the ballad calls for. You can find an antelope nearby. Bring them down and get proof of your kills. We'll need them later on. It is the story of a maiden who lost her ring to a greedy troll. a young knight wishing to be her champion offered to reclaim it. The champion killed antelope and used the carcass as bait. When the troll came to feed, the knight killed the troll and returned the ring to the maiden. The ballads of these fae repeat naturally, but if we reprise it now, we can force the troll and the ring to appear again. It's the way these fae work. None are safe from its wilting touch, not even the travellers. Like everyone in Amalur, our fate is in the cards. Lambs, all of them, yes. The people in Gorhart wish to hide from the war beneath the trees. But you and I both know the truth. There's no running from the Tuatha. At first listen, the Fae speak in riddles, but bend an ear. They revere stories. It is how they give their lives meaning. If you can call what they do life, the House of Ballads is a place where the Fae revel in their past glories. It is north of here if you're curious. I'm a firstborn traveller's child, raised to live the way my people have for centuries, by wit and wiles. New to the Feylands, yes? We travellers are folks without land, law, or king. We go where we want and do what we please. That aside, it's pretty much common knowledge that we're some of the greatest thieves in the land. Kiss a traveller and count your teeth, so the saying goes. I usually stay with the war in the east, thankfully so, but I've killed a few here in the Dark Wood. Wish I knew what brought them. Anyone who labours to defy nature is a fool. The Warsworn built that keep to stand for all time. But it will fall, like all the others. They should heed the lesson of Castle Yolven. If magic wishes to reclaim what's rightfully hers, she will do it. An ancient castle inhabited by spiders. They say a witch is involved in its overthrow. I do not know of such things. I've travelled Webwood many times, but that was before the recent unpleasantness. Spiders have overtaken the forest. It is best avoided. It is the crossroads of the southern and eastern routes. It is also a haven for those wishing to escape the horrors of Webwood. To the west lies Gorhart Village. To the north is the House of Ballads. Good luck.
I want to finish as many quests in this area as I can before we proceed with the main story.
What is it?
Speak with me. Two Legs, please help me. Other Two Legs are cruel. They will not help. No! I am cursed. You believe me? Many think I am just another Two Legs. They are wrong. I am a wolf, cursed to wear this shape by evil sprites as some cruel game. I still have wolf thoughts in my head, but two-leg bodies are so clumsy they can't even catch dumb meat birds. I must be changed back. Thank you, Two Legs, but the task will not be easy. I need water from a magic well, guarded by the sprites that cursed me. Be warned, the sprites have much magic, for the well they guard is older than this wood, and from that they draw their power. The sprites guard the well, which is near the river to the north. Beware them. They have much magic. A pack of Two Legs gave me this name, but they would not give me help. They hit me and drove me away, just for eating their tasty meat birds. But what did I do wrong? I was cursed by 3 sprites who were bored. Had I fang and claws, I would shred them like meat birds. My brothers and sisters think me but another two legs now, and will not suffer my approach. I am without a pack. But it is worse than that. Your two-leg life is unbearable, like these strange things called pants. How do you tolerate them? You must mean the fair folk, yes? They are north of here, deep under the shade of Yolvan. Their smell... It is unusual, green. That one smells of eel petal and sky blossom. I have tracked her to camp. Most two-legs hope to slay me. She only watches. Their pack is small, but they are each powerful. They came to this forest not long ago, drawn by the magic of the well. Were I a wolf, they could not best me. But as two-legs, I am clumsy and weak. Be careful. This is a black pool. Old when the mighty trees were saplings. It used to wander throughout this corner of the wood until the sprites ensnared it. Hunters like me, two-legs. Their blades are their teeth, and they fight for their kin until the last breath. This is good for the hunt, this wood of smell and shadow. As a two-legs, I cannot stalk, cannot prey. The bloodlust. This is agony. Return swiftly. Two-legs, do you come to me empty-handed? What is the meaning of this? The well holds powerful magic, as old as these trees. Our elders told us its true name. Your two-leg kind might call it the well that wanders. Throughout the forest, it would vanish and reappear, like a wolf on hunt. But what prey it seeks. Before I was cursed, I remember strongly atop the water was the scent of leechwood. Perhaps the well seeks that. Leechwood? That is the two-leg name for that wood that feasts on strength. It appears through the forest. Should not be hard to find. The scent of the well was strong with its odor.
Sunshine must be what the well is seeking. Return swiftly.
Good. The troll that stole the ring in the ballad is named Lecker the Corpulent. I guess he had a bit of a appetite. You need to mount the trophies just like the champion in the ballad. When all are displayed, Lecker should come. Once he's there, it should be easy business claiming the ring. I mean, you've killed a troll before, right? You need to display them in the ruins. That's what's going to draw out Lecker the Corpulent and get us the ring. I'll be here. Yes? Thanks for dealing with Lecker. I wasn't really afraid, mind you, just playing the parts all. Now that this business is over, just give me the ring and I'll give you your payment. And And here's your reward. You know, you have the makings of a decent traveller, and I mean that as a compliment. You might try your hand at thievery. If you like it and you're good enough, you can sell your goods to our fencers. I have to say, the fair folk may be a little strange, but they have quite a way with stone. Thanks for your help in claiming this bauble. It was worth every coin. I'm a firstborn traveller's child, raised to live the way my people are. New to the Feylands, ain't ya? We travellers are folks without land, law, or king. We go where we want and do what we please. That aside, it's pretty much common knowledge that we're some of the greatest thieves in the land. Kiss a traveller and count your teeth, so the saying goes. Pleasant travels.
I'm hoping if I stand here for long enough, it'll come back.
Speak with me. It is there, Two Legs. The scent of water. Faint, but it does not escape me. My pack shall hear of your compassion and honor. I now go to the wilds and rejoin my pack. And now you may continue on your path, but with the knowledge of how to fight with the strength of a wolf. Now I shall drink deep of this potion and return to my kind.
Hell yeah. I think that's a good stopping point. Holy crap. We never get very far, do we? Well, we'll try again. See how that goes. Alright. Sorry, thank you for hanging out. I know that, there wasn't a whole lot going on this time around. And it was pretty, chill. But, I don't know, sometimes I enjoy just kind of playing and not talking much. As you do, at times. It's also nice to just hear them. I very rarely, will talk with the villagers, so it was nice to just get some dialogue that I don't think I've ever even bothered to listen to before. But that's gonna be it for me, for today. Jesus, I'm sorry. When my voice is completely back, we will do some more Ace Attorney and some more vocal heavy games, but for now, we're gonna stick with things that, have people filling in voices so that so that it's not awkwardly quiet, because I'm not speaking. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Thank you so much for hanging out, and hopefully I'll see you next time.